Alright guys, now let's do some list operations and list methods. So let's start off by creating two lists. Now let's print out these lists. Print A, print B, then we'll print A plus B. Save it, run it. So A plus B is just B being appended to the end of A. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can also say A times 3. This will print out A 3 times in a row. And if we want, say we want to assign these new lists we're creating to a variable, all we have to do is say C equals A plus B. And then we can do print C, and this should just be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, cool. Now let's get into split method. So this is useful when you're taking input from users, and I'll show you guys how to do that in maybe the next video. So we'll say S equals 1, 2, 3. It's separated by spaces. Now we want to turn this into a list form. So we'll say Z equals S dot split. And then we'll print out Z. Save it. And there we go. 1, 2, and 3 are now in a list. Let's do another one for the split method. Let's say S equals 4, 5, 6 separated by commas. We'll say Z equals S dot split. And now we need to format the separator. So that's a comma. So this, let's print out Z now, and this should be separated. And as you can see, 4, 5, and 6. Now let's talk about slices. We talked about sub strings in the last example. So it's basically the same as strings. We have X, Y, and Z, where X is the beginning index, Y is the ending index, and Z is the stepper. So let me show you. So let's say Z equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then X equals Z from 0 through 3. So this is going to grab 1, 2, and 3 because it starts at 0, goes to 1, goes to 2 in terms of indexes, and then it gets cut off here. So let's print out X. Cool. So say we want to print out the whole list backwards, just like we did with the string. All we have to do is say colon, colon. We don't specify a beginning or an ending index. And we say -1. Negative steppers start from the end, and 1 means it's going to go one at a time. Now as you can see, it prints it out backwards. Now let's talk about some list methods. So we have our Z list up here, we'll just use that one. Let's say if 1 is in Z. We say that by saying if 1 in Z. We'll say print 1 is in Z, else print nope. And obviously 1 is in Z. Well, I mean, because as you can see, the number 1 does appear within the list. Then we'll say if 7 not in Z. Let's separate this. I'll print 7 is not in Z, or else 7 is in Z. And as you can see, it's not. So let's run it. So 7 is not in Z. Now let's sort the list. Say this list was all jumbled up. In other programming languages, you would have to use sorting methods, which you would have to write out from scratch. In Python, all you gotta do is say z.sort. Let's print it out. So as you can see, this is a little jumbled up here. And then when we print it, it's in order. Now let's reverse it. See, we have a reversed list. And now let's say we want to know the index of a certain number or string. Let's just get the index of 5 right now. And since z, our list is in reverse format right now, 5's index is 0. Now let's get a count. So this is going to count the number of times a certain number or string appears within the list. So the number 3 appears once within our list. And then we can also get the minimum from a list by saying min z, or we can get the maximum by saying max z, or we can get the length by saying len z. So let's print out all these. So the minimum is 1, the maximum is 5, and the length of the list is 5. And then as I said before in the loop video, if we want to loop through this list, we can just say for item in z and print item. So every time it loops through, it grabs a single item from the list and stores it in this item variable, and you can print it out. So yeah guys, those are some basic list methods and operations. I'll see you in the next video.